Welcome to the Press for Conversation podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Layback Corey. I got a special co-host here for today. She's chiming in with us, Miss Blair Kelly. What's going on?
How you doing?
All right, we got a special guest. This is a great artist. She got a nice song out that we're gonna play, and I'm telling you, it's fire. You don't want to miss it, man. Internet, what's up, man?
Howdy, partners. Thank you for having me. Very glad and blessed to be here.
All right, but before we get deep into this great episode of the podcast, I'm gonna play a great song by you. So, tell us about this song.
So the song is called Mea Culpa. I just released a video to it about a week ago. For about 40,000 views on YouTube right now.
Hey.
The song came from real life situations I'm going through with one of my relationships, let's say that. Just, kind of relating it to dealing with, as a man, feeling multiple emotions for more than one woman. Kind of being young and living life, you kind of come across a lot of people, especially in my field of work. I deal with a lot of people, and a part of that is the lust and dealing with that. So I kind of wrote that song about, loving somebody in particular, but also dealing with the emotions that come from that type of stuff.
Okay, so for the people out there, we're finna get into this nice record. Here we go.
Mea culpa, ask forgiveness because I can't ask for permission. Please just listen, God's a witness. The way I loved you, so vindictive. When I left you, know it hurt you. I'm the bird, didn't mean to desert you. Hear it in my melody, deeper than the surface. I still window shopping, can't afford any purchase. Diamond rings and fancy things, you know you deserve it. But I work with the dollar, man, your pocket's been hurting. Just give me one more chance to make it work, I ain't searching for my replacement, no so soon, baby, it ain't working, yeah. Please, baby, please, I want that old thing back. I'm with my friends wildin' out, they try to hold me back.
Love it.
Alrighty. So, what was you going through when you wrote that song? And can you give us a brief detail about the video as well?
At that time, so I wrote the song, surprisingly enough, in 2019. Didn't get to record it until mid to late 2020. Didn't get to release it until March of this year. And at the time, I was kind of going through, it was my most significant relationship in my life. I love that woman to death, even still to this day. And we were, dealing with, I come from a family of men that, knowingly or not, are polygamist, and I grew up seeing a certain type of relationship, and I emulated what I knew, and it was my first, like I said, big, relationship like that, where I got, her nieces and nephews call me uncle, and dealing with that stuff, how she felt about other women in my life, and me being a musician and the stuff that comes with that, that's where that song came from. Is just like there's a part where I say, they say it's harder to love, you've been self-destructing because I'm harboring lust, demons haunt me, baby, they surrounding us. And that part in particular, I feel like encapsulates exactly what the whole song is about. Just like, I feel like everybody most men who go through this don't want to feel the way that we feel, because we love the woman that we're making feel the way that they feel, and we don't want them to feel that way, but we can't help but to act within our nature. So it's a part of it is me trying to express that remorse as a man, but also to try to get women to understand and look. That's what the video is about, showing we do want to love. That's what the resolution is at the end, that we do want to find love, and we do want to be with a woman and be happy. But whether you believe in the caveman theory or the monkey, we come from monkeys theory or not, there is a part of us all that has that, whatever, if you want to call it the animal or the lizard brain, with that it just kinds of, as a man, we see a woman with a nice body or a beautiful whatever smile, face, and you just it's that you react in whatever way you react.
So this person you talking about in the record, how long was you with them?
3+ years.
Oh wow. So is it harder for you to get in a relationship ever since then? Now with somebody new?
I am currently in a relationship.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right now.
Wasn't hard.
All right now, that's what I'm talking
Wasn't
about.
hard at all.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, if I wasn't in a relationship, I wouldn't be seeking a relationship. The relationship I'm in has been long lasting.
That's good.
So if things get sour, which I hope it doesn't, have you ever thought about writing a song? You gonna write a song like, you know what, bitch, you better not leave.
If you go on my SoundCloud, I will say, like I said, I started making music. I've been doing music my whole life, but I started like actually releasing music as a teenager. So there's still some of that teenage internet out there for people to see that version of me. And I kind of did a song like that, saying you're gonna see me on your TV screen and it's gonna hurt. I wouldn't give me up if I were you.
Do you find it difficult to like balance a relationship while you're chasing like your dreams and your goals?
It's probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do, like actually have to manage in my life. Like school, sports, even learning how to do music in the first place to the point that I do it was so much easier than like being internet to so many people. And then being me with my, like, not even just my girl, like, my family in general. Like, the balance is even more difficult because right now I'm in a point in my career where everybody wants to do something with me or wants me to be here or do that, but a lot of people, like you guys I'm here and I appreciate it because you guys respect my talent and my ability and my craft, and the reason that I don't do a lot of stuff is because people don't respect.
Well, you know what you say about them, right?
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up. It was at this moment that it was.
That's a fact, man. I consider myself to be one of those artists that, like, I know my talent. I know my value. I'm very good at what I do, and it's intentional. Like, I put the work in to do it. There's a lot of nights that I didn't sleep to get where I got. And I consider myself, with it being as good as I am at what I do, I am probably, like, I'm such a normal person. I'm so not like, oh, well, I know my music is the best, and I have this many followers, this many views, so you got to pay me this much money, or like, nah, like, I prefer to work with people that see my talent and want to grow at the same pace that I'm growing at and are willing to give me the same energy and reciprocate that. Like, if I take an interest in something that you have going on and you take an interest in something I have going on, then we have a mutual ground to stand on. But a lot of people kind of, especially out here, man, like, they just see talent as like, I'm going to use that talent to get myself to this position. Right.
So what is your goals? What type of legacy do you want to have in music?
I consider myself to be in the same space by the time that I'm done. I want to be at least in the same conversation with the Michael Jacksons and the Princes of the world, where you look at, like, when you think of them, you can't necessarily pin what it was about them because it was so much about them that it was just them that you loved. Like, even if you hated them, you still had to admit, like, that's Mike. That's Prince. Like, if somebody comes up and says, oh, Michael Jackson's music is whack, that's just undeniably not true. He has way too, like, you haven't listened to every Michael Jackson song enough to say that, or a Prince song to say that, because you got something like Purple Rain, or then When Doves Cry, or Michael Jackson with Beat It and then Thriller, or got the newer album he had with Justin Timberlake. That stuff was still, Michael had to go record that stuff.
Yeah.
Now you know it's hot when the man Holy Grand was hot. Like everybody thought he was still alive. Like it's crazy. But a lot of people in this generation, they don't respect that type of music anymore. I had a couple of young folks say that's granddaddy's music. Well, I mean, what you mean that's granddaddy's music? That's music back then had structure, and that's what music should have now. Like back then, you had to have talent. Like it was you could just go in the studio and goofy off and just back then it was a lot of boundaries. They didn't have YouTube, they didn't have the iTunes and this and that. It was nothing but a guitar, cassette tape, and you was performing on every corner, every club, every night. You really had to grind.
What I would say, I think there's a space for all of that stuff. Like with the internet, which is why we can get into that too. But with the internet, I think that it's created an industry where that stuff has taken the forefront because it's always been there, and those people have always been waiting in the wings for their opportunity to get to the level that a lot of those people are able to get to now. But it's also created the atmosphere to where a person like myself can come in and completely force everybody to have to change and do things differently, because once a person like myself breaks through a certain level of success and has the main focus of the industry or the audience, everything else kind of has to shift. We've seen it happen over time with music to where now we have people like Lil Baby and Gunna and Young Thug, and those are the top kind of people in the music industry right now. 20 years ago, those people would never have been able to even get brought into a room to be considered. And I love all of those people's music. I like that stuff, but it's just to say things evolve and things change, and I believe that the time for real, actual genuine musicians and artists who want to create for the sake of creating, and then the money comes second, and that talking about that type of stuff in your music, it can only last for so long. Yeah. And I think, and I see a lot of those, even those artists, like I'm talking about Young Thug and people like that, though, that's not even all that those artists talk about. So when people on the lower end try to emulate that and they just use the one thing, like Lil Baby has the song Bigger Picture, for example, you have to be able to do more. And once I'm at a certain level, I do believe that it's going to force people to expand even more than what they've already done. Like I would use Lil Uzi as the biggest example of kind of forcing people to change the way that they did the auto-tune thing.
Yeah, Lil Uzi, I love Lil Uzi.
So it's another song I heard on the radio by you. It is nice and it's hot. 107.5 played it. WGPR. That's what it's called right there. Matter of fact, it's up the street here on Jefferson.
Yep, I've been up there. I did an interview there too.
Yes, and tell us about this song, I Zombie.
I Zombie is another track that, came about around a year and a half ago, going through similar stuff. So at the time, I was living with my girl, sick. Just dealing with some health issues, and it was right around the time that the coronavirus was kind of popping up in China, but it hadn't happened in America. And I was literally, I can exactly tell you what I was doing in the moment that I started to write that song. I used to work at Carvana doing car detailing for the tires and stuff, and I was sitting outside in the parking lot. And I saw, I picked some of my beats on YouTube based off a picture, when I'm looking for beats on YouTube. So I could tell, the beat is going to be good from the picture. Saw the picture, played the beat. Instantly, I started writing, and it just came, the hook. Once I heard the hook just came to me, broken heart can't be fixed. I'll just carry on from the dead like this. And that was based off of me, I was feeling I was literally, I watched myself slowly dying at the time. I was so sick. I was not myself, and I was getting smaller and all that stuff. So I was kind of going through the same stuff at the time as with Mea Culpa. Wrote both of them around the same time. So I was kind of putting my feelings of not really being myself and falling apart because of everything that was going on with my health and then my relationship, making it worse, and into the music, which is why I said, like, only way that I can ever speak is through a song. I put it in the lyrics and I give it to the world, because that's the only way that I feel like I can actually convey my true feelings about anything. Like, and it used to be the exact opposite, where I could never really talk about certain things in my music because it was, I don't know, I was embarrassed, I guess. But now I'm at a point where I've detached myself from the art, and the art is its own thing. Like, I don't even consider it to be my music, which is why I created the persona of Internet, because Internet is a person of his own. It is a being of his own, and he has a purpose for existing and a reason behind all the stuff that he's doing. And yes, I had a hand in creating Internet as the person behind him, but I for sure am not Internet. I'm so good at my job that people think I'm an extrovert, but I'm for real an introvert. I like to be by myself, and if I'm not by myself, I'm with, this is my family. Like, this is my actual cousin. This is not like my friend or some homeboy from the block. Like, this is my actual cousin, just to give you an idea of I don't have people around me like that.
Right, I thought you was gonna say this is my cousin Doombuggy.
Nah, it's my cousin Junebug.
Right.
Did COVID like help you to like write more with your music? Like, did your creativity come out more when everything was kind of like shut down and isolated, or was it? Were you like at a standstill with your creativity?
I would say early on, COVID messed me up real bad, because I'm a person that I write based off of my experiences. Like, everything that I'm talking about in my music is, I've done it. I've went through it. Having to sit still for almost 2 years. Yeah. The first year, I was like completely stuck, and it was just fighting with my girlfriend all the time. So that was kind of like the only thing that I could write was like, I'm so sad, I'm so heartbroken stuff. And then I just got like the second half of this, whatever you want to call it, I gave up trying to follow the rules and everything like that. And we went on dates and traveled and all of that stuff. And it got a little bit better. Yeah, and I started to create more of my stuff. And after, like, now where we are, I kind of got used to not being able to move around the way that I want to move around, but because of what I do for a living, I still kind of get to move around more than the average person. I'm at a point, like, when I sit still for long periods of time, I've taught myself to get inspired by things that are going on in the social media space, or taking something as I see going on with outside people, or just creating a scenario. Like, I had my cousin, another cousin that I work with, he challenged me, which is where the song Heat Check came about. He challenged me to he was like, I want you to rap, but I want you to rap like cocky rap. Like, I want you to talk your ish. And I want you to, just flip the words and do the real crazy. And, having that instruction and putting the song together the way I did it, I was like, okay, I like this. And I had people start doing it more. Like, my engineer will sit in something, like, he'll just come up with some random crazy stuff. Like, the other day he was like, you should make a song about a superhero, but the girl is in love with the superhero, and you are not the superhero. You just the average Joe, and she not in love with you, but you in love with her. So you kind of just simping for her, and the superhero is just not even like a real good superhero. It's like some Hancock shit. Like, he's the worst superhero, like half-assed.
You know what artists you remind me of? You put me in the mind frame up, if you don't mind me saying. And my camera guy Darian might agree, might disagree. You put me in mind of The Weeknd.
I mind that so much. He's so talented. I'm upset.
Because the Weeknd had a lot. You notice he don't do a lot of interviews. Yeah, and he explained why. Because I read one, I was like, why? I couldn't find one on him until I found this very one, and he just the same way you said. he just like to beat it himself, and he said it helps more with creative juices to the flow of his music. And he went through a lot of heartbreaks too, and the way he just structured it, like, it's different. And when I looked at your music and your artwork, I'm like, wow, this is the same thing. A lot of people might not get it, but the people that really love your music, they're going to get it. So, and I got it. So I was like, wow, for you to spell internet different. And I was like, wow, The Weeknd is different too, because he does a lot of things different. It might seem weird, but it's not. It's art.
It's funny that you say that, because thank you. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's funny. I've never had anybody like out of all the comparisons that I get, that I've had The Weeknd, but not for that reason. Like when he just said, I was like, dang, he does spell The Weeknd just ND. Yeah. Like, okay, I forgot KND, Weekend.
And to me, it's not being. Some people say being weird in music is weird, but it's all about creative, because Kanye West, they might say that he weird, but he's one of the greatest beat makers. You got what's his name? Like I said, yourself, because you coming up, you're doing good. Your music is doing fire as well. Tyler, the Creator, he's another one.
Tyler's dope.
He's another one that people say he's weird, this and that, but
it's like define weird.
Yeah, that's why I say it doesn't. I can't define it because there's no boundaries. Like,
right, but the word weird to me,
like people say, like they just dip, they act. Is to me weird is just
what?
Right? Is it? I don't look at it as weird. I look at it as creative. Like, I like different art. Everybody wants to do the same thing, and by a person want to switch up and do something different, I like it because that lets me know you're really putting time into your craft. It ain't just something you just pushing out, because you could put out a record holding up money and holding up guns and stuff like that, and but no, I don't want to do stuff like that. I don't knock the people that do it. That's their thing. But
yeah, that's why I liked this video, because I feel like
because
it was different, and
it was
taking accountability for a lot of things.
Exactly, and it's good. It is one thing about it is it's great storytelling. Like, it's telling a story. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's telling a story. Like,
what everybody's going through, basically.
Right. When you push them girls off, I'm like, I wish I would have did that a long time ago. To every girl I had a crush on that didn't like me, I wish I would have pushed them off like that. Oh, but no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there.
Triggered.
It took a lot of
reflecting.
Yes, not even just that, self-reflecting and actively punishing myself, I guess. And when I say punishing myself, I just mean like removing things that I wanted in place of what I knew I needed to be doing. And the word punishment, I feel like, is the best suited thing for that, because it helped me to learn certain lessons in relationships that, like, my access to women is tenfold what it was when I was not doing what I do for a living. And I'm a pretty handsome guy. I've never had trouble with women liking me or anything like that. But I don't want to be one of those people that, like, I have a child on the way, and I want my son to, thank you, I want my son to see his mother and I be as healthy as we possibly can. And I want him to see me be as, like, I can't be as good of a father as I want to be if I'm out here chasing skirts. Yeah. Let's say it that way.
Right. So by you writing so much music and making so much music, when your baby do come out the womb, it might come out with a microphone and some headphones on. You never know. You know.
Hot Boy Summer, I said I might just have my baby mama drop the baby in the booth.
Right. He might come out rapping some lyrics. You be like, whoa, wait a minute.
Baby Wi-Fi, yeah. That's my you asked what type of legacy I want to have. The overall legacy that I want to leave on music and the world is, I want to teach people how to love and how to deal with things that come at you, negative energy, bad people, whatever, from a perspective of life is all about reaction. I can't control you. I can't control him. I can't control him. Can't control you. Can't control none of these people out here. All I can control is this guy right here. I can't even control my son.
But I'm gonna say this.
Just react.
I would like to see you down the line get either nominated or win a Grammy. That'd be nice. That'd be nice for you.
Real dope.
If I don't, it's proof it's rigged.
It's okay because you know
It
what I'm saying.
doesn't take validation away from
Right.
Yeah, I'm not
no
tripping on
offense,
it.
but it took Nas all this time. He just got his first Grammy last year. So it's all about putting in the work. Just keep grinding. You don't need that to solidify your music. It's a lot of artists out here that's doing their thing. So keep.
The only thing that I feel like that I need in order to feel like I've done, like the thing that'll let me know that I made it or that I got to where I want to get, is when kids, like young children, stop me and like it's happened once. I want it to happen a million times over. I love it when the kids acknowledge me and spend time and hang around me, because the way I feel about it, like my girl's a teacher, third grade teacher. So I realized by spending all my time helping volunteer with her, stuff like that, and I was a swim instructor for kids at Aquatos, that I love kids and I like spending time with kids because I consider myself to be an adult that cares. And there's a lot of adults that don't care at all, that will put a negative influence on that same child that I'm around. And if I plant the seed first, they don't even have a chance.
Yeah.
So that's why I love to be around kids as much as I possibly can and try to teach them. And like, so when parents let their kids stop in public to see, when they see me, to ask to take pictures and stop and talk to them and stuff like that. Even they like, hey, like they just so happen to see me at the grocery store. They're like, hey, my son been acting up in school. Could you just talk to him real quick?
Yeah.
That is when I feel like I will have gotten to the point that I want to get to, when people see me as more than just the guy who makes music, because I'm making the music for the exposure. The music is gonna, I would do this even if I wasn't making money off of it. I do the music to get the exposure to try to actually make a difference in the world.
Well, like I said, man, I appreciate you coming on to the show. Thank you for giving us the time of your day. I appreciate you. And I also appreciate you, Blair, as well, coming on the show, filling in
Big
for
Blair.
us today.
Thank you.
Yep.
No problem.
The Diva Superstar has arrived.
We got a shout out. Don't worry about Big Peso D.
Peso
Y'all will
D,
be hearing
yeah,
from
Peso.
him
Now, when you
soon.
get your pesos, holler at me, dog. And like for the people out there, this is the Press for Conversation podcast. Thank y'all a lot for tuning in. Make sure y'all look us up on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all those good endeavorments. And make sure y'all check out my guy, Internet. Thank you for coming through, man. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Internet on all platforms, NTRNT. And then you could find me, I mean, you could look me up, NTRNT, on everything. It'll work. I have a website, World Internet, WRLD, NTRNT.com. I love you all. Thank you for having me.
All right, that's the Press for Conversation podcast.
Yes.
Peace.